Well, let's talk about what's happening at New Hope Baptist Church.
Yeah,
and,
boy, we've got an event coming up this next week, and that's what I thought maybe we'd talk about today and interlude into some things. I am bringing in a gentleman. He is from Fort Dodge, Iowa, Dr. Tom Suter, for a spiritual warfare conference. He'll be flying in on Friday. And then he'll be with us. The conference is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I do the second Monday of every month. We come in and we just talk about things, that can relate what people are going through in life and how the Bible says they can gain help. And I've talked to you several times about what I call the hole of no hope. And Dr. Suter wrote a book many years ago called Help Out of the Hole of No Hope. And he is an author. He is a speaker, and there's just not anyone else on the face of the earth that I know personally that has helped more people come out of bondage, come out of depression, fear, anxiety, bitterness, sadness, hopelessness. He has looked at the biblical principles. Dr. Suter's had much pain and hurt in his life. His wife and his daughter both passed away at the same time, and so he's walked down the road that a lot of people have walked down. So we're bringing him in to do a spiritual warfare conference, and a lot of people don't even know what those words mean, spiritual warfare. Mm-hmm. And people, I think, in my opinion, we've allowed Hollywood to fictionalize, if that's a word, or to make fictional things that really are real. My wife and I just got back from vacation. We flew out to Burbank, and my son is in college at West Coast Baptist College out in Lancaster, California. So we picked him up, went to Santa Barbara for a few days, and then my wife and I flew to Honolulu and just spent a week in Honolulu. And on the way back, we ended up with a day and a half extra waiting for our flight out of Burbank to come home. So we did the tourist trap thing. We stayed just about half a block from Hollywood Boulevard there in Hollywood, and got in one of these vans and went and looked at all the famous people's houses and the Wax Museum, the tourist trap junk they've got. And, I was amazed at all that they have out there. And as I'm looking at all these billboards, and I don't watch a lot of movies, but I see all these science fiction and these ghosts and these demons and stuff. And we've really fictionalized something that the Bible says is very much real. There is a spiritual realm, and much of what we're going through in life and the hurts and heartaches we're going through, we look at it from a physical matter. When it's really a spiritual matter, and there's help out there from the Lord, if we'll just allow Him the opportunity to do so.
Wow. I'm sure you saw some interesting characters walking the streets of Hollywood Boulevard and stuff.
Oh, man. And, it was interesting.
I'm sure it was. So Dr. Suter, how long ago did he write his book? And
I'm going to say Dr. Suter probably
Suter,
wrote,
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Dr. Suter, I'm going to say that book was written. I've been familiar with the book since the early 2000s for about 20 years. So I'm going to say probably in the 90s.
Okay.
But it really is a good whole. The analogy is a whole. Mm-hmm. And if everyone out there that's listening today, I promise you, if you're listening, whether you're driving down the road or listening while you're in your beauty shop working or sitting at your desk or whatever, if you'll think back over the last year, have you had hurts? Have you had days that you just didn't want to get up? You didn't want to do anything? You got some hurts. Maybe you can think of in the past some things that you've just not forgiven folks for, and that's weighed on you to some degree. What happens is we start digging a hole. We start getting in a hole. Mm-hmm. And the further down in that hole you get, there finally becomes a time. You see, we don't mind being in a hole as long as we can get out.
Right.
We don't mind having a pity party. The other day, my daughter was whining about something, and I pulled up the old song, "It's My Party, I Cry If I Want," and she just thought I was just the weirdest guy in the world. And, but we don't mind, just a day here or a couple of hours there of this or that. But finally, you're going to dig just 1 inch too deep and you're not going to be able to get out. It just takes 1 inch of dirt, and you're stuck.
Yeah.
You cannot get out. So there's really 5 levels of the hole of no hope, and he walks you through that. And we've talked about some of those. Why?
Right.
That was the first thing we talked about. When things go wrong in life, we often ask, why? Why did this happen to me? Why do I have to go through this? Why now? Okay, Lord, I don't mind going through this, but why now? I've got all this other stuff to deal with. And
Right.
often we blame God for things that we've put on ourselves. And it just amazes me to talk to people. And I was speaking to a man just the other day, and he will not go to church. And I said, "Tell me why." He said, "Well, I'm bitter at God. I'm mad at God." And I said, "Why?" He said, "He took my mother and my aunt away from me." I said, "Oh my!" I said, "Were you young?" He said, "No." And he said, "Just a few years ago." I said, "Well, how old was your mother?" And he said, 92. And I'm thinking, wow. Mine died at 47.
Yeah.
And I'm not bitter against God for my mother dying, but man, if I could have had my mother to 92, I'd look back at all the great times instead of,
Yeah.
We find ourselves blaming God for things that God's not out there trying to get us,
Yeah.
but we ask why, and then that moves us into the stage. If we don't take care of it there, we start with it's not fair. It's just not fair. And then we go through that stage, and if we don't get a hold of it, that'll move us to comparison. We start looking, and I start looking at you, Gene, and thinking, well, he's not going. Listen to Gene on the radio. He's happy all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I know good and well there are times you're smiling on the radio, and as soon as you put it over to commercial, you're pulling
as soon
your
as
hair
that
out.
camera's clear.
You understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly.
We really know how to put on a good show sometimes.
Well,
but
generally,
we're
though, to be perfectly honest, generally, I'm a pretty positive,
and I believe
happy
you. I
person.
believe you.
There are times.
Can I have your wife's phone number? I'll talk to her about it. We'll find out how.
But I'm assuming as you go through these different steps, at some point when you get too dug down and you realize that you can't get out of the hole, that's when the real depression sets in.
And unfortunately, the last stage of the hole of no hope, and I hate to use this word, but it's the word suicide.
Yeah.
And Gene, we're seeing too much of it right now. Too much of it. Young people. I'm about to go to Alaska. I usually travel to Alaska twice a year and do camps. I'm a ventriloquist, and I do kids camps up there. And actually, we're taking all of our teenagers from our church. We're taking 32 people
Wow.
to camp in Alaska here in a few weeks. Ask me after it's over with if I'll ever do that again. But it's once in a lifetime. I mean,
If you don't start behaving, that plane's leaving without you.
all I have to do is run faster than someone else when that bear's coming. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to But
But you're right about the suicide, the
Yes.
numbers of suicides and the kids, especially thinking
in
about
Alaska,
it.
it's
And there's been
bad.
so many factors because you've had the COVID effects on school, on family, on work, and for a lot of these kids.
and America has changed.
Yes.
Gene. I am seeing even older people considering this last step, because America that we know today is not this. It's just not the same. We just got back. I just mentioned that we just got back from Honolulu, and I don't hate many things in life, Gene. I really don't. God created it all. I'm thankful for it. I despise sand and salt water. I really do. There's nothing I enjoy about the beach. I just never have been a beach person. I don't like humidity. But my wife just loves it. I think it's the spiritual warfare. No. But my wife just was pleading with me. So I said, I tell you what, we will go to Honolulu so that if you'll give me one full day at Pearl Harbor without no whining or griping, then I'll give you the rest of the week at the beach, and I won't whine and gripe. So I got Pearl Harbor and supper at the Trump Hotel. That was pretty nice. But
Yeah.
when we were there at, just about changes, when we were there at Pearl Harbor and we went to get, you have to take a boat out to USS Arizona.
With Arizona, yeah.
and you get off. Have you ever been?
I have not. I've seen the pictures and the video, but I've not.
I'm a rather emotional person, and I reflect on stuff very much so about what men and women have done to give me what I have. It's a real thing for me, and the sailors that were in charge of the ship said on the microphone. They said, "When we get there, this is a memorial. This is a graveyard." And there are the dead beneath you. We ask you to respect and to stay quiet and just be very respectful of this sacred ground. And we get off and we get onto the memorial. You're looking down at the USS Arizona, and there's still oil. I was amazed that there's oil coming up out of the water. And I was just amazed at the people in their 20s and 30s and 40s taking selfies and laughing and saying, when are we getting off of this thing? I thought we were just coming out here for a few minutes, and at the same time, seeing men in their 80s with a walker take their hat off, get out their handkerchief, and wiping back tears as they think about what has happened there. America has drastically changed, and I think that even a lot of older people are having not the same struggles as our teenagers,
Right.
but they're struggling with the direction America has gone in.
Right.
That's why it's so important to get your answers. Whether you are 90 years old and struggling, or you're 12 years old and you're struggling with life, it's a spiritual problem. There is a war going on around us, Gene, that the Bible says in the Old Testament that we can't see. There was one man in the Bible that God allowed those scales to be moved from his eyes, and he could see the battle going on around us. And but we wrestle not, according to the Scriptures, against flesh and blood, but against principalities. And so there's a warfare going on around us, and we're flying Dr. Suter in just because I'm recognizing that there's a lot of hurting people out here. The oil industry has, what's happened there, and there's just so much that has happened, especially in our little part of the earth. I wanted to bring an expert in that I know can help people in an unbelievable way.
So the dates that Dr. I want to say this
Dr.
Suter will be here.
16th through the 19th. That's Sunday morning, 11 o'clock. Sunday evening, 5 o'clock. And then Monday through Wednesday at 6:30 p.m.
Okay, and this will be at the New Hope Baptist
Yes, sir.
Church here in Artesia. That sounds like this is going to be very good information for a lot of folks who are facing a lot of different struggles right now.
We're seeing a lot, and I don't know. I've never seen anything like it in my life. I've done counseling for 25 years now. In all reality, if I never had the opportunity, I enjoy preaching. We had a wonderful day at New Hope Baptist Church yesterday. We had a family, a husband and wife, and a daughter baptized yesterday, and just had a full house. It was just it was a great day. But if I never got to preach another day of my life, and all I would do is just counsel, I would be okay with that. I enjoy preaching. I thoroughly enjoy it, but I love to help people. And my counseling sessions have always been one a day, 4 a week, that kind of thing. Over this last week, between in-person and phone counseling, I'm doing a lot of Zoom and phone counseling now. I'm hitting upwards of 4 to 7 a day.
Wow.
Just to get through and to get everyone in. And for the first time in my ministry, I'm having to have my secretary, well, I can see them next week. And I've got people hurting today.
Yeah.
But I physically can't do it all.
Can't see everybody.
It's just breaking my heart. So if we can get someone in here that can help folks with a good, heavy start, I think we can see the Lord make some difference in some lives.
Yeah, that is good to know that is taking place, and that if folks want to do that, I'm assuming his book is still available.
It is, and they can actually get it from our church. I keep them. I order them by the caseloads. So I order 42, and then when I get down to about 15, I order another 42, and so we keep a case of the church all the time.
Helpful book.
They're cheap books. I think they're $10. Just nothing but an easy. As a matter of fact, I am writing for Dr. Suter. I do a lot of. I'm sort of the boring writer. He's the fun writer. I'm the boring writer. I write student curriculum. So I'm writing a student curriculum book and a teacher's book so that churches can take this material and do a 15 session
Right.
class on this if they want to do it during a Sunday school hour or with a small group. So it's a way to help pastors to be able to help their people. So I want to, even our pastors here in Artesia, I don't know a whole lot of them. Everybody stays so busy, and you know, I come in and I'm busy enough just trying to take care of my flock, you know, much less trying to, you know, get to know others
Sure.
too well. But any pastor in our area, whether that be a Baptist pastor or a Nazarene or a Methodist pastor, a Presbyterian, I don't know what all's here in Artesia, but the answer's all the same. And if this could help them, to help their people, we're more than glad to be part of that. Come be part of the conference. Come see, it's free.
Yeah.
Not cost anybody a dime.
I tell you, one of the things that I've done is just to not get too overwhelmed with everything that's going on. And I did this after the election. Well, pretty much after the Supreme Court didn't hear the Texas case. I've turned it off.
Yeah.
I think I've watched 3 minutes of Tucker Carlson since January. And I love Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
I think if he and I sat down, we would probably agree on about 99% of things, or a lot anyway.
Right.
I have just turned it off. Yeah. I've focused more on what we're doing here, making sure we get the video stuff done for the parents that
That's
can't
what
go
I've
watch
had
the
to do as
kids
well.
and stuff like that. And it's kind of sad. And then the other thing I've had to do, and I'm sure you've talked to people who've done this, I've been really disappointed at so much of our corporate world that has gotten woke.
Oh, don't get me started. How long have we got? How much more time have we got?
Well, I do need to take a break here, but that to me is probably more disappointing because I keep thinking kids are going to be kids, college kids are going to be college kids, Hollywood's going to be Hollywood, but at some point in time, people mature, and the adults are in charge. And we're just not
Our
seeing
adults
that.
are not adults
Exactly.
anymore.
Exactly.
Well, you know, let me just throw this out here.
Sure.
There again, I don't watch the news much anymore either because it just gets my blood pressure going. I was just skimming through, reading some stuff yesterday, and I was just blown away. These woke people, and I can't remember who these particular people are on this particular occasion, but were upset with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, and I'm thinking, how can liberals be upset with
Exactly.
Pelosi and Schumer? You know, I don't know if you can get any more liberal. And they were upset with them because both of them on their Twitter or whatever put a message out of Happy Mother's Day. And I thought, well, how is that? I said, no, and I'm trying in my mind to grasp where are they going with this. They don't want us to use the word mother. They want us to use the word birthing person.
Yeah. No.
My goodness, I didn't have a birthing person. I had a mother.
That's right.
My good. You know what? I'm just an old country boy. You never did have to tell chickens.
Right.
I'm going to leave that alone. You never have to tell cows. You never didn't have to tell pigs. You never did have to tell the rabbits. They all seemed to figure out who went with who and what went with what, and it just all worked out.
Yeah.
I never did see a cow and a pig walking around.
Because if they didn't, it would end. That would be we'd have no more breakfast. So, hey, can you stick around for a little bit?
I sure can.
All right, Pastor Jason Perry from New Hope Baptist Church is with us. Let's take a break, see what Jared has for you.